thing is like the way that we use the internet is vastly different. So you have like rural places in India where it's not uncommon for a mobile device being the sole device in a village and multiple people using it. So this is basically a way in which people access the web through shared devices, which kind of reminds me of maybe late 90s, early 2000s internet cafes, which kind of died out as everyone had internet access. But like imagine like a mobile phone, which in terms of experiences, the concept of accounts no longer become viable, because if you've got 20 people in a village using the internet for whatever reason, mostly probably informational, like directory services at that point, then it just tells you like the experience of the internet is wildly different. And then you have like other countries, I suppose like Nigeria and Ghana, where the traditional model of payments and verification of payments is through SMS messages. So that's like a legacy technology that any internet experience has to build on top of, because that's the payment service. Like people don't commonly have bank accounts or credit cards, but SMS is the way that they validate who they are. So it's just interesting at how these cultural things of the internet is vastly different depending on the region that you are, or even like if you just look at the way people buy stuff online. Like when we were trying to design like payment checkout stuff, it's like some parts of the country you don't actually pay until the goods are delivered, so you pay the delivery driver, which I thought was like wild. Like there's that trust model where, because there's a fear that the person's going to take your money and run, so you have to wait for the goods to arrive. If you don't like it, then you just give it to the driver and they just, they don't charge you for it. And then you have installment payments, like some countries like Brazil and Turkey, where you buy a pair of jeans but with 30 installments, which again blew my mind. But then if you look at average earnings, it makes sense, because the goods are still the same expense, but the average earnings is not the same as say in the UK and America. So therefore this idea of monthly payments or installment payments on a pair of shoes or jeans is quite common. And some people, what they do is they go to a supermarket, they'll buy something, they'll pay, and then they'll come home and then the stuff is delivered to them. So you have all these kind of cultural things of way, just a simple action of buying something, which is wildly different. And also you see like the way we treat the internet as well. So in Europe and America, it's a very similar thing, where the web is this like giant library of stuff. Whereas in Asian countries, you have these super apps, which are based on services that people access. So WeChat basically is like, you do your taxi service, your food delivery, your Amazon equivalents, everything is within this app. And this concept of the internet is like the app is the browser, but it's only like Fisher Price style browsing, where there's like 5 buttons and that's all that you really do. But that's the internet, that's the experience of some of these people. So it's interesting how it's evolved based on cultural things. And I think maybe it's like when we spoke about language previously, perhaps the way we type is the thing that hinders these experiences. Like I mentioned before, Arabic is hard to type out because there's different dialects. It may be the same for Indian and Chinese languages. Therefore, this kind of big button, like imagine if the old school phone boxes where you have 9 or 10 buttons and then like hash and whatever, but each one of those buttons is like social network, food delivery service, streaming service, because it's harder to add another level of search and discovery on that. And then there's government restrictions and whatnot. So yeah, no, I mean, I find all this stuff quite interesting. I hope we're not boring anyone.
No, I mean, we're both internet nerds. Obviously, we spent
Absolutely
a lot of time on the internet, so
too much.